In the program today, we'll have an exclusive interview with Yanakkis, who is one of the country's well-known personalities, but he has just announced recently that he would like to take part in active politics. First of all, welcome to our exclusive interview here in Capital Straight Talk, Mr. Yanakkis.
Thank you for having me.
You recently announced through Capital FM that your intention to join politics. Now, one would ask you, why have you decided to enter into mainstream politics here in Malawi?
Basically, the state that the politics is in Malawi since 1994 is in shambles. Having been born here, I believe I can make a difference, even if it's a small difference.
What sort of a difference are you talking about in this case? Because we already have politicians in this country who are there actually taking part in the active politics. Now you're saying that you can make that difference. What sort of difference are you talking about?
I believe that advising a state president or the vice president is very important. And where they go wrong is they don't have the right advisors on what's going on the ground at the moment.
Where are you getting your confidence to actually now speak out in terms of real politics?
My confidence comes from living here for 47 years. We have not improved in any sector, in my eyes. As a matter of fact, it's getting worse. Therefore, we need a change, new faces, new opinions, new advices, new values.
Now, one would ask you, and even our listener would be tempted, how else have you served the community so that people can be convinced that your intentions are really sincere? Because you can just come up and wake up this other day and say, I'd like to join politics.
I served as a chairman for the Greek community in Malawi until 3 years ago. It's not easy. It's you have different types of thinking what is right, and that hurts a lot of people, but that's fine. As long as you stick to the rules, you'll get through it.
Now, obviously, politics is mainly practiced at 3 levels. You talk about executive, you talk about legislative and council level. Where exactly do you want to start from?
Personally, would like to start at the executive. Simply why I'm saying this, that's where the change will happen. It cannot happen in any other sector. The commands come from the top, not from the bottom. That's where it's important. That's how a country changes, when our mindset changes.
You're talking about the executive. Are you eyeing the presidency
at all? But I am eyeing the vice presidency.
Standing for which political party? Because in Malawi, when you talk about these positions of a president and vice president, you should have a political party. Maybe are you talking about establishing a political party?
Yes, that is our first option. I did have a chat with a leading political party. I'm still waiting for them to come back. But yes, definitely. We'd look at starting up a political party, having a native Malawian as the Bonawankulu, and myself as the second. But we don't want recycled politicians. We're not interested. Not even. I've had a few approach me already. We've said no to them.
Would you be open on that one?
On who approached me?
Yeah, you're saying that you have once approached a leading political party, and there's some more political parties who are knocking on your door?
I approached MCP, Dr. Chakwera. We had a chat. They're thinking about it to put me on neck. It's been over 2 months now. I've not seen I've been to one of the rallies in Blanta, in Nyambadwe, about a month ago. I'm still waiting for him to come back to me. I've had Honorable, I don't know if he was Honorable Sam Pashu, phone me to say if we could sit down and talk and see if our values are the same. And no disrespect to him or to anybody else, but Malawi needs new faces, needs confidence. We need to build the trust from the people, and the old politicians are not trusted, unfortunately.
Now, how serious are you? Because there would be some people who would be doubting your statements, your positions, and saying that you just want to join politics. How serious are you?
Very serious. I've been considering this for 5 years now. My community knows that I've always got involved. I knew George Banda, Bakili Mluzi, and whatnot, Brown Pekanjira back in those days. I've always somehow got involved. The reason why I've actually taken an interest is that we're so far down. To recover, it's going to take a very long time. It needs new thoughts. It needs technocrats, people who know business, people who understand about the environment. You need planning, and you got to stick to it by the law. This is what's missing in Malawi. Rule of law. There's no rule of law. Most of us are doing what we want. It's not acceptable.
But we are into democracy, and people are supposed to do whatever they want. That's a typical of democracy, as most of the people would be made to actually believe. We're in a democracy, so no wonder whatever is happening today.
Within the confines of the law lies democracy. Democracy doesn't necessarily mean we're entitled to do what we want, whenever we want, and how we want. That's not acceptable. There are laws in this country. They were founded by, I think, before Kamuzu. So Why aren't we sticking to them? This is why I'm saying the top has to stick to them, so that all of us, they set an example and a pace, so that we all follow their example. The example has been bad from 1994. This is where we are today.
Where were you all these years now to come today, 2016?
Yes. I was contemplating leaving. I've been wanting to leave Malawi for about 5 years now. I have not been able to, because I have property here. You know, I've been here for 47 years. Until September, I had put my property for sale. God obviously said to me, don't sell. And then I gave it a good thought. And which way is it? Sit and suffer, or do something about it? And that's what I'm doing.
What actually made you decide to sell your property as you are claiming here?
The way Malawi is, it's disaster. I've just come from Limbi into Blantyre. There's very, very few cars on the road. Very few people walking on the side pavements. Business, a lot of old companies have closed down. Factories that's supposed to be smoking, the chimney smoking now, they're not there. They're not there. These factories should take 4,000 or 5,000 people, 2,000, 3,000. Where are they? They've been turned into trading centers. That's not right. We need to manufacture. We need to have agriculture. We need to put maize as a commercial crop to commercial farmers. And this nonsense of every government that comes in from 1994 saying Njala, it's wrong. People should not say that. The government should take care of its people. Give the farmers contracts to grow commercial maize, fill up the supply, then the rest export it and bring in money.
But in this case, who's to blame? You would be to blame because you are the people who are supposed to be playing a big role in the private sector. Now, government, for example, as of today, those in leadership that are saying things are okay. You, on the other end, you're saying things are not okay. So which is which? Who should people believe in this case?
Well, good question. I applied with a bank, a leading bank, 2 weeks ago to grow maize, and I asked for a loan. They phoned me within a few days, and the two exact answers were, one, maize is a very controversial crop and very politicized. So I said to that official at the bank on the phone, is this real? When people are hungry, you using that? Is that correct? Is that the way to do it? This is where government has to come in and say, no, we've got land, we've got water, let's sort it out. And we never have to go hungry again. It will be something of the past. You move on to the next thing. Let me start a career in Malawi. Not hunger. It's wrong. It's wrong. Will the politicians like it if they went to bed hungry?
So, are you trying to join mainstream politics out of frustration?
I think that's where it's born from, to be honest with you. I'm seeing that even 10 years down the line, we're not going to get any better. I don't see any improvement because the mindset hasn't changed. All I'm hearing in the newspaper, in the social media, is corruption and theft and stealing across the board. It's not on. A country cannot develop when you have that kind of disease in Malawi. You can't do that.
But as you have admitted, corruption is everywhere, and you people, even people like yourself, you are also being accused of being involved in corruption. You have talked about being somebody with that background of business, and also corruption is there within you business players.
Me, as personally, I was in tobacco, I was in bakeries, I did a garage for 7 months, but most of my life I was in a bakery. For the last 10 years I haven't done very much because I'm too scared to invest in Malawi because I could see where it was going.
That's why I'm asking you, that you also people who have got that background in terms of business, you're also accused of being involved in corruption, because if you like to get a contract, maybe a big contract or any business, you're supposed to pay bribes. So that's why corruption will not be accused on one person. Even you in the business sector, you are also accused of corruption.
You are very right. It's very big in the business sector, but it takes two to tango. It takes the one who wants to get the money and the one in government. Because don't forget, government is the biggest business in Malawi. So if government says we are not going to do it, what is the businessman going to say? You can't force him.
So paying bribes would be the way to go?
No, that is going to be stamped out. There's got to be auditors, minimum twice a week. There's got to be accountants. There should be, I personally believe that whatever revenue the government is getting must be put in one account. Not each branch of government must have its own. Greece has done it. That's my other country. Greece has done it. Now it's controlled. Not every ministry, there was millions and millions of euros missing. Now they've got into one account and it's well controlled by the state, by the finance department. And you should have auditors signing for those checks. You should have consultants going to see those projects which are being paid for, bridges, whatever it is, schools. You got to have the stamp of approval by more than government. It could be a lot of people.
But obviously you might be aware, and you might have heard about this, saying that politics, here in Malawi especially, is a dirty game. And one would ask you, are you ready to get yourself swallowed in the mud of the paddle? Because politics in Malawi is a dirty game.
It is very dirty, unfortunately. It was never like this. It's just getting worse and worse. But this goes out for the people who have got something bad on their mind. Politics is for people who want to join. Clean politics is for very few people. Just remember that what goes around comes around. Yes, it is dirty. I am prepared for it. To a certain degree, I am prepared for it. And I just hope we can do this in a fashionable manner and show how civilized us Malawians are and will always be.
Now, I might take you back to my area question, saying that politics, for example, here in Malawi, it's on 3 levels: executive, legislative, and the council level. Now, you're saying you're aiming just to go straight into the top position, that's the president or the vice president. Why not starting from the ground, talk about a member of parliament or a councillor? Because that's where you can actually interact with the people, the grassroots, the voters on the ground.
Unfortunately, what I've seen in Malawi is, for example, MCP has a majority seats in parliament, but certain things are still being passed without them being able to stop it. I can't pinpoint exactly what, but what I've picked up, I believe the change will come from the top. When the executive tells you and the vice, they must get on. They must get on, be on the same level. When they tell you this should be done, and it's in accordance to the law of this land, what more can you do? It's the best way to solve the problem. Instead of fighting and shouting in parliament and people getting heart attacks and whatnot, just do it straight from the top. Abide by the laws.
But now, for you to get to the top, you're supposed to actually have that confidence of a voter on the ground. That's why I'm asking you, how confident are you that you are going to make it?
You're very right. There's 2 things that I'm sure a lot of people are going to say after this meeting. Azungu. I accept. We know that. Unfortunately, I am a Azungu for those who feel against it. But fortunately for me, I have my name, Yanakkis. I have my integrity and my values. The way to do it is you need to come out to the people and tell them what your program is. And you got to stick to it within a time frame. Otherwise, throw the towel in and go home. Resign. That's what must happen, and that's what will happen. You need to keep to a time frame. Not Mwina, Tidigira, Tiganiza. No. This is going to be done. You're going to bring in people from outside. We're going to do it. We're going to train people here. We're going to do it. Malawi has not developed. It's a pity. You go to Zambia. My son went. He's just come back from Mauritius. His dad, fantastic. It's 1.5 million people, but developed. Why are we not developed here?
So are you ready to go across the country? Typical villages where the majority of the voters are you ready to go to these people, convince them that he is a man who would like to join politics in order to bring that transformation in Malawi?
Very much so. I was born in Queen Elizabeth. I lived in Namwera, Machinga, from the age of 3 years old. So going to the villages for me is not an issue, but it will have to be done, and it's going to be done. 3 years is a long time. Nobody knows. God is great. We don't know what happens, but I believe that this is what I told Dr. Chakwera. You need different origins in your party. You need it, because his exact words to me were, a lot of his advisors are just telling him nonsense in his ears. You need people who have got some integrity, and I do stand for that. My community will probably support me on that. I stand for integrity. I'm a family person. It's my home. I'm not going anywhere.
Now, you're repeating your position, saying that you approached the Malaya Congress Party president, that's Lazarus Chakwera, presenting yourself that you are ready to work with the Malaya Congress Party. Why Malaya Congress Party? Because we have got the ruling Democratic Progressive Party, which is ruling. Why not interested to actually join this party?
I grew up with late Kamuzu Banda, his era. Yes, he was tough. Yes, he was a dictator. We all know that. Yes, a lot of things happened that should not have happened. I'm totally aware of that. And I'm against what a lot of things, bad things would happen. But he developed Malawi. Malawi's exchange rate was, if not 1 to 1 to the pound. Malawi had good doctors, good nurses, good surgeons. We had pride in what we did every single day. There's nothing wrong with having democracy with rule of law. As for the DPP, what I'm reading in the newspapers and the social media, yes, some of it is lies. Fine. But from 1994 right to now, it's been the same. Since UDF, DBP, PP and DBP have all acted in the same manner, completely different to MCP. As in development, I'm talking development. I want to develop Malawi and get rule of law so we can all get on together, because people here are very angry. We're all angry because we're having it tough. We can't make ends meet. And what's happening? Our anger comes out, which is wrong.
Now, you're saying that the DPP, you feel like it hasn't done enough, and the rest of the regimes that you're talking about the UDF, the DPP and the People's Party, feel like they haven't done enough. But if you go and speak to the DPP, they are proudly saying, we have actually developed Malawi. And they're citing examples. You talk about the way Lilongwe has actually transformed, bringing in some infrastructure in Lilongwe. You talk about the new parliament building. You talk about structures like the new hotel in Lilongwe, the Bingu International Conference Center, and the presidential villas. They are claiming that these are some of the tangible developments that the DPP has brought in the country.
That's exactly my point. If they're claiming all this, it's nothing to do with the general public. It's something to do with the executive and whoever else uses them. How does the 17 million population in this country benefit from all that?
So you feel like another person will not benefit anything out of that?
Absolutely not. Most of the people do not benefit. 99% do not benefit. It's the elite who benefit from that. It's a few business people who benefit from that. You need to benefit from, I've mentioned it last week, we're going to have 3 major hospitals. I'm talking like South Africa's got in Johannesburg. One in the north, one in the center, one in the south. I'm talking, you got to have helipads with helicopters. You got to have proper, we are humans, we get sick. Someone just passed away 2 weeks ago, was taken to Malamulo, Adventist. And I understand, I heard the other day, that he shouldn't have passed away because the care was inadequate. That's what I heard. And it upset me because these are the people we know. But had we had the proper facilities, now that hospital might say to her, but no, it's what we hear and we saw it. And members of the family have complained about that. I actually spoke to one of them, and it's wrong. We should have medical care. We should have proper schools. I've seen on Facebook that kids are being taught under a tree, and yet we've got 600 billion kwacha missing. Excuse me. Is there sense in that? These are double standards.
But now the DPP says this is infrastructure development. That was even there during the Kamuzu era. That's why they are citing about, for example, the Malawi University of Science and Technology. These are some of the development projects that the DPP feels like they have done enough for the country.
It's never enough until people's needs are satisfied. People need to live a normal life. Kids need to go into a classroom and not 100 to 1 teacher. 30 to a teacher, for example. Build them toilets, build them IT centers. Why can't we do it? We need to put money where the system works, and we're going to make the system work perfectly. It's not working.
Which would be your areas of focus if you are to make any impact in the social and political landscape of the country? Because you have talked about the health sector that you have cited as one of the examples that the country needs to focus on.
Look, health is very important. Everybody lives, we all get sick. We don't have state-of-the-art equipment here. Let's go back 3 years ago when late Bingu Mutarika passed away. Had we had the facilities at Kamuzu Hospital, maybe he would have been alive today. Maybe we would have just got him in time. I don't know the circumstances, but do we have the facilities? We don't. It's very, very unfortunate that we have set aside our health, because that's what we are really today. If we're not healthy, we can have billions of kwachas, but we can do nothing with it. Health is very important in Malawi. Transportation, I would look into bringing back the old bus company that used to be here, the UTM, the Shiri bus lines. How much is it from Limbi to Blantyre? 150. The government will subsidize it. 50 kwacha per person. Subsidize it. Chimanga, farming, right, contracts with commercial farmers, sell it to ADMOC. ADMOC pays you there and then. There's no such thing as Mwina Mawa, you honor your debts, you pay. You honor your contracts, you pay. Malawi will pick up within 12 months. It can happen, it just needs vision. And you need rule of law. A lot of people have come to me and said, Nick, what is going on? People are doing what they want. It's not acceptable, guys. We have to change our mindsets. This will upset a lot of people because we were told to from 1994 that we could do what we want. This is not a true democracy. A true democracy is stick to the rules. You can go. Why shouldn't I not be allowed to go into politics? Because I'm a white person? No.
But now, it's obvious that it's easier said than done. What sort of ideas do you have that can actually help revamp the country's economy and indeed the industry sector? Because a lot has been said about the country's economy, the status of economy. Now, people are saying, what sort of magic would people like yourself bring to turn around things?
First of all, ESCOM. I have relatives who are in the bakery business. The amount of money they're paying on ESCOM fees or bills every month is making them close down. Actually, they're both up for sale, the bakeries I know of. ESCOM, you need to bring in prepaid 3-phase meters. You pay as you go, not maximum demand. In my eyes, maximum demand is a rip-off. It's not right. Whether you use 10 bags of flour or 50 bags, you're paying the same amount of electricity. That's unacceptable. Taxation. Who here, a new company, which company has come to Malawi and opened up? Please tell me. I want to go and visit them, because I'll tell you straight, I don't think there is anybody new. I've seen people close down, whether they're traders, whether they're manufacturers. We need manufacturing here. Bring the cost down. Your electricity bill must be down, your taxation must be down, and get people back to work. Let's be proud and let's have careers. That is one of the solutions.
But now, those in government would say like, wait a minute, Mr. Yanakkis, you are not saying the truth, because recently Malawi hosted the first ever forum where the government is trying to actually attract as many foreign investors as possible. And they're saying that most of the investors have shown that interest to come and invest in Malawi. You're just saying no investors so far come into Malawi. People would feel like you're just telling lies, Mr. Yanakkis.
Well, show me who's come. Like I said, I'll go and visit them. We can say that we've had a forum. What were the results? It's even on social media. Where are the results? Where is the inauguration of new companies, not one or two, that can take people off the streets and back into work? People are struggling. How can they come to Malawi? Water shortages. Terrible. Electricity has been okay, I think, from December. It's not up to scratch. The tariffs. I mean, where are we living? What's going on? Why don't you bring down the costs? Attract. Keep your electricity on for 24 hours a day, every day, 7 days a week. Keep your water running. Has the government gone around companies and say, why are you closing down? What are your problems? Can you send me an email? Can I come back and see how you're doing? How can I help you? That's what's happening. The engine of Malawi is the private sector. And unfortunately, in my eyes, in the last 47 years, it's getting smaller and smaller.
Now, you are a Malawian of Greek origin, and there is this perception that you people tend to be selfish and do not necessarily interact with or mingle with fellow Malawians in various social gatherings. Then how do you respond to that? Because these are the Malawians who will be looking forward to you and give you their votes in case you have actually been standing on any ticket. But you are regarded as very selfish people.
I think that would be unfortunate, because most of the Greeks are from Namwera, and we've dealt with Malawians, native Malawians, all our lives. Our social gatherings are different. Like it's for them, it's also for us. And this is why one of our young boys got married to a native Malawian. It's actually George Banda's niece. And my comment to my wife was, this is 3 years ago, I said it's about time that the two have sort of come together, and two sort of different backgrounds have become a common ground now. Now we are, because someone broke the ice on that. But it's unfortunate we don't go out with Malawian friends, or they come to us. I think it's the same for them. They don't invite us to say, let's go and have a drink. So that's got to stop, because that reminds me of the old days. Malawi, please, and Malawians and its people must remember, this is a global village. We have to change the way we do things every day. We've got to get up in the morning. We are all Malawians. The other thing is, if I may add to this, is this dual citizenship is unacceptable. Zambia has just signed it in. I know that at 8 p.m. The president wants to do that. I'm hoping it does, because that opens the door to foreign investment. Malawi cannot be an island. You can't just say Malawi is for Malawians, but Malawians can go anywhere else in the world. It's not possible. We've got to interact with everybody on the same leveling field. It's got to be done. And we got to be forthcoming. I understand a lot of businesses in Mangochi along the lake are closing down. These hotels and whatever they are, cottages, they're all closing down. Some of them are closing down because of what reason? There's no tourism. Why? A lot of people say on Facebook, I went to the lake, I come back, my room's been robbed. My items in my room. And that's another big problem in Malawi. We are not abiding by the law. I said earlier on, we've got to change that. We've got to turn a leaf and say, guys, let's do it properly. But it's got to come from the top. They must tell us. They've got to not impose the law, but hand it down to us and say, guys, this is the law, in a nice way. I have seen a huge difference with the police officers in Limby and Blantyre. Most of them I knew. I stopped the other day, a woman stopped me and says, a cop says, can I see you? Yeah. And we chatted in Chichewa. So, Bana Yanak, I said, Banji Masinta, you guys are Che. He said, yeah, Bana, the old ones are gone. The old ones? Oh, you know what it's like. It was always, can I have something, can I have something? Whereas the ones I'm seeing now, it's pure business. Can I see your license? They check your tires, blah, blah, blah. Off we go. And they're polite. We can. I can see that APM is making some changes, yes. But it's not enough. He's got to move. And he's got to get other people, other origins with him to advise him. because his advisors could be telling him a lot of nonsense. I could be saying a lot of nonsense, but someone along the line will say something the truth.
Now, politics is very expensive in Malawi. That's what we are told. You talk about campaigns. People, or those who are vying for different positions, are supposed to have actually that financial muscle. In your case, for example, the Malawi Congress Party says, Mr. Yanakkis, we are appointing you to actually join our party. How would you rate yourself in terms of the financial muscle? Are you having a lot of money to actually campaign, you as an individual, or for any political party that you might join?
I'll answer the first question. As for MCP, I got an SMS a few weeks ago from a member of parliament asking me for shirts and party clothes. And my answer was very simple. I don't know where I stand with your party, therefore I am not contributing. But if I am somehow involved with MCP, my contribution, and I made it very clear to them, is my name. I take very much pride in my surname, and the fact that you have broken the status quo by having a non-native on the platform. It is a big plus factor, because today, I can tell you straight, it might sound racist, it's the truth, and that's what I'm going to stand for. It's the truth. People are fed up with the politics and the politicians of today. They are frustrated. I'm one of them.
But I'm asking you about your financial muscle, because we are taught politics is very expensive. For example, I've just started an example of saying somebody asking you for t-shirts, which means, you know, a politician, you should have a lot of money if you are to convince or win the hearts of a voter.
You're right. Alone, no one can do it. You always get supporters, financially, sponsors, may I call them lobbyists. That's fine. We have no problem with that. But on my own, of course you can't take it on. I'm not government. I'm not a wealthy man like, for example, others who have had the opportunity to make millions and millions. But my intentions are that if we start our own political party, then yes, we will go door to door. They know me, especially in the South. And the person we're going to choose to head as the executive, we'll go together and visit, and we'll see the response. But we will, and I underline this, will make a huge change. Because change comes from your heart, not only from your soul. It comes from your heart. Your brain might say "Dufunu ubanga," but you gotta feel it in your heart. It's a bit like a marriage. You gotta fall in love to get married. You have to fall in love with Malawi to serve Malawi.
Now, we are running out of time, but as we are finishing off, how do you rate the current APM administration?
Unfortunately, for APM, Mr. President, you've come short. I don't know who your advisors are, but definitely what's plaguing this country is the corruption. So where do I put you guys? I'm not happy. I don't think you're a success so far. So far, you haven't been a success.
Now, out of 10, what sort of ratings would you give the current administration?
Not even a 2.
Not even a 2?
No. No.
Why?
Because when you're in the Mpando, the pressure's there, expectations are there, you've got 17 million people to take care of. Very simple. That's my personal opinion.
Now, out of the 5 administrations which the country has so far had, which one would you rate highly?
In development, because my core topic is development and rule of law, is MCP.
Malawi Congress Party.
Malawi Congress Party.
People not feel like surprised, because we have already talked about your biasness over Malawi Congress Party.
I had a chat with Dr. Chakwera. I've had a chat with one or two MPs. They stand for progress. I saw it. I lived it. If they can duplicate that in 2019, thumbs up.
Maybe for a listener who's just listening to us right now, a simple question. Who is Nick Yanakkis?
Nick Yanakkis, born 1968, Queen Elizabeth. My late father, Konstantinos Christos Yanakkis. My mother, Fosso C. Yanakkis. Born and bred in Malawi. People know me in Blantyre, in the South, as Munchies, because I had a bakery called Munchies Bakery. My intentions are very clear, even for the native Malawian, like you guys called me on the radio the other day. They are very, very honorable. People, yes, I'm going to get a lot of people who are going to run me down. I don't mind that, as long as it's in all earnesty. I'm born here, I've lived here all my life, I have a family, I have 2 children, I have a wife, I have a farm, I've got a bit of property. I'm here to stay. I want my kids to find a better Malawi than I found from 1994.
Mr. Yanakkis, thank you so much for talking to us in today's edition of Capital Straight Talk. Otherwise, we'll keep on tracking you, whatever is saying today, and we are wishing all the best as you get into mainstream politics. Otherwise, thank you so much for talking to us.
Thank you, and God bless.